So let us talk about the R in detail. So guys, so when I was preparing this content, so I came across this visualization which help us to motivate why do we need to go for R, whether it is a worth or not. So in the survey, so in one of the organization, this survey happened, and they came to know that the number of users who are participated in the survey and their most data science environment for their data science projects. So if you look at the most of the time, the people go for R to execute their project, because R is a very friendly tool and also the advanced tool to execute the data science projects. So now let us go to the R in detail and understand how we are going to load the data and execute it. So before that, let us understand the data. Let us have a feel of real-time data and its jargon. So data is limitless, can present anywhere in the universe. So guys, as we discussed in our previous session, so data is huge. So in these 15 years, they have a lot of data generated. So guys, do you know every day Twitter generates close to 10 million tweets. So where these guys are storing these tweets and how the Twitter is using these tweets to develop the data science engine, how the analytics is involved on the Twitter. So there are multiple storage or multiple devices where we are storing the huge data. So there are a lot of data available, but the format could be different. Like as I told you that some of the data is stored in CSV, some data in Excel, some data are in Hadoop distributed systems, some data have stored in the relational databases system, some data have stored in JSON, HTML format, and also in the text format. Okay, so guys, now let us understand what are the different types of data available. So at a very broad level, there are two types of data. One is primary data, another one is secondary data. Let us understand what is primary data. So guys, it is a data which is collected from different sources such as personal interviews, questionnaires, surveys with a specific intention and on a specific subject. So it is a direct approach of collecting the data as it is tailored to a company's need, and only authorized person collect these data. Like example, Amazon have the customer base close to 10 million. Okay, so the data which is related to the customer, and obviously it is limited to only the Amazon company. So that is called the primary data, because Amazon have collected that data for data validation, for credentials validation, for to extract the user behavior, to extract the buying patterns. So it means that data which is in Amazon company, which is related to their customers, is called the primary data. The data which is collected for a specific reason, and if it is limited to any company or organization, it is called the primary data. Now, what is secondary data? Secondary data is the data which is publicly available. Like example, weather data, survey data, exit poll data, and if you talk about the municipality data, if you talk about the election data, so these are the data which are publicly available. So if you take an example of if you go to any Wikipedia page, you will get some data in a structured format or unstructured format. So that data is called the unstructured data, and that data is also called the secondary data, which is available for public usage. It can be used for research, it can be used for commercial or academic purpose. Okay, so guys, for our any data science project, we do go for primary data and we also consider the secondary data, but again it's all depend on your data requirement and the client need. So guys, I was working with one of the client and he sent me a data, but that data was primary data, and I want to consider for that particular analysis, I also want a data related to the weather, which is my publicly available data. So what I did is I have integrated the atmosphere temperature or weather data to my primary data. So sometime we need to go beyond the primary data and we need to collect the secondary data to have a multi-dimensional analysis in your project. So guys, to execute any project, you cannot limit to a particular data. You need to go beyond the data, beyond the primary data, and collect the whatever the data you required for the analysis. Okay, so database storage unit could be SQL, MySQL, NoSQL, Hadoop clusters, and multiple Excel files, CSV, text, JSON, HTML. So they can store the data in anywhere. So as I told you that once you get the data, it could be they can send you in these formats or they can give you a credentials. So what you can do is you can interact, you can connect your R or Python environment to the client database to get a proper proper data for your analysis. So there are multiple packages and the libraries available in R and Python to connect to the any database like SQL, MySQL, NoSQL, Hadoop clusters. You can connect to any database through R and Python and get the data in your environment. So data could be in a CSV, Excel spreadsheet, text file, images, and JSON files. So now let us look at what are the different types of